I'm Judith Maria and welcome to SG Global News. From the heartbreaking tragedy in Minneapolis, where a 23-year-old gunman opened fire at a Catholic school, killing 2 children and injuring 17 others, to an uplifting news as Stephen Discroll is named as the winner of 2025 Australian Christian Book of the Year, we have many stories to cover. A gunman opened fire during morning mass at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis on Wednesday, August 27th, killing 2 children and injuring 17 others before taking his own life, the authorities said. According to the officials, 14 of the injured are children between the ages of 6 and 15. All are expected to survive. The remaining 3 victims are elderly parishioners in their 80s. Authorities identified the suspect as a 23-year-old Robert Westman, a former pupil of the school. 2 children have been killed and 17 people injured after a shooter opened fire at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. The tragic incident occurred at Annunciation Catholic School, a private elementary school with about 395 students. The shooter, identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, killed himself at the scene after firing at students through the church windows during a morning Holy Mass held annually at the start of the academic year. The victims were aged 8 and 10. According to the officials, the assailant graduated from the same school in 2017 and fired dozens of rounds using a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. Police are investigating a video recorded by the shooter in which he discussed feelings of depression and a desire to carry out a mass shooting. The FBI is investigating the attack as a hate crime targeting Catholics. According to the local priest, Father Paul Hedman, the shooting began when the community was praying. Responsorial Sam, Minneapolis Archbishop Bernard Hebda, wrote in a statement that he was heartbroken and urged continuous prayer for the healing of those who were present at the Mass and their families. On Wednesday afternoon, Pope Leo XIV sent a telegram message to the Archbishop via Vatican Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin, conveying his heartfelt condolences and the assurance of spiritual closeness to all those affected by the tragedy. President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance wrote on social media that the White House was monitoring the situation and called for prayers for the victims. Kyiv residents took shelter in the metro station early Thursday after Russian forces launched a large-scale overnight drone and missile assault on the city. According to the Ukrainian officials, the attack killed 4 people, injured over 20, and caused damages to residential buildings and other structures across multiple districts. Interior Minister Ihor Klimenko reported via telegram that the fatalities included 2 children while more than 20 others were injured. Russian forces carried out a large-scale overnight drone attack and missile strike on Kyiv, killing 4 people and injuring more than 20, according to the Ukrainian officials on Thursday. Interior Minister Ihor Klimenko stated on Telegram that the victims included 2 children, while over 20 others were wounded. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko reported 22 injuries, including 3 children. Kyiv's military administration reported that both drones and missiles were used in an overnight attack on the Ukrainian capital. Timur Takachenko, head of the city's military administration, wrote on Telegram that the Russians' approach remained consistent, that they carry out combined strikes from multiple directions, systematically targeting ordinary residential buildings. Officials detailed widespread damage across the city, including to several high-rise apartment buildings. Takachenko noted that 2 residential buildings on opposite sides on the Dnipro River had been severely damaged. In the eastern Darnitsky district, part of a 5-story building was destroyed and the emergency crews were searching the debris for residents who may still be trapped. Takachenko further added that the emergency crews are responding to the aftermath of the strikes at over 20 locations across the capital. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian metro has been transformed into a shelter for civilians. Fires have erupted in multiple areas of the city, with images shared online showing flames engulfing upper floors of high-rise apartment buildings and thick smoke rising from structures. The Trump administration has warned U.S. states and territories that they will lose federal funding for their sex education programs unless references to transgender individuals are removed. In letters sent Tuesday to 46 states, territories, and Washington, D.C., the Administration for the Children and Families ordered the removal of all references to gender ideology within 60 days or risk losing funding from the Personal Responsibility Education program.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has demanded that 46 states and territories remove all references to gender ideology in the federally funded Personal Responsibility Education Program, PrEP, educational materials from schools within 60 days. A press release from the Administration for Children and Families, dated August the 26th, stated that this action reflected the Trump administration's ongoing commitment to protecting children from attempts to indoctrinate them with delusional ideology. States and territories that fail to comply will face suspension or termination of federal PrEP funding. Last week, the department cut California's $12.3 million PrEP grant following the state's refusal to delete gender ideology content from its sex education material. Acting Assistant Secretary Andrew Gradson said, "Federal funds will not be used to poison the minds of the next generation or advance dangerous ideological agendas." He stated that the federal statute included no mention of gender ideology as it was both irrelevant and unrelated to any adult preparation subjects. The Personal Responsibility Education Program was approved by Congress in 2010 as part of the Affordable Care Act to educate adolescents on topics such as contraception, sexually transmitted infections, and adolescent development.
In a bid to protect historical Anglican church situated in Leeson Park, a small but fierce Romanian Orthodox community, to secure the sale of the church property before any group not related to Christianity outbids it, Romanian Orthodox Church in Leeson Park is now seeking the help of other communities all around the world to protect the sacredness of the church.
In a bid to prevent another Christian building from being purchased and converted, a small immigrant Romanian Orthodox community in Dublin is intensifying efforts to raise funds to buy an abandoned church once owned by the Church of Ireland. The property put up for sale by the bank on February the 1st has drawn interest from multiple bidders, but the determined Orthodox community is doing everything possible to secure the deal. Reverend Clarence Floria, priest of the Romanian Orthodox Church in Ireland, is leading the fundraising campaign to purchase the Anglican Church located in Leeson Park with a target of €4 million. So far, his parishioners have raised €19,789 through a GoFundMe initiative that set an initial goal of €200,000. Christchurch Leeson Park was deconsecrated on March 11, 2025, following a final service of evening prayer, bringing to a close more than 150 years of Anglican worship at the site. Speaking to OrthodoxChristian.com, Reverend Floria emphasized that the local Anglican community fully supports the Orthodox effort to preserve the building's sacred purpose. Even the Dublin municipal regulations require that the property also remain open to other potential users. At a time when many abandoned churches across Europe are being converted into mosques, the Romanian Orthodox community of Leeson Park is fighting to ensure this historic site retains its Christian identity and sacred character.
Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew I urged peace, justice and Christian unity at the 11th Conference of European Churches in Tallinn, calling for dialogue amid conflicts like war in Ukraine. His message, echoing Catholic and Lutheran principles, highlighted the Assembly's theme of hope, reconciliation and resilience as churches work together to confront Europe's challenges. Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew I delivered a compelling call for peace and justice at the 11th Assembly of the Conference of European Churches in Tallinn on August 27, 2025. Speaking to Catholic, Lutheran, and other Christian leaders, he stressed the Church's role in fostering dialogue and reconciliation amid conflicts like the war in Ukraine. Bartholomew's message resonated with Catholic social teaching, echoing Pope Francis's call for fraternity while aligning with Lutheran principles of grace and service to promote unity. The assembly, themed in the light of hope, spirituality, reconciliation, resilience, runs from August 26 to 30, co-hosted by the Estonian Evangelical Lutheran Church and the Orthodox Church of Estonia. The Lutheran Church's leadership in organizing the event underscores its commitment to ecumenical cooperation. The Conference of European Churches, uniting Catholic, Lutheran, Orthodox, and Protestant denominations, focuses on collective action to address Europe's challenges. Bartholomew urged attendees to counter division with compassion, inspiring a shared Christian mission to build a hopeful, resilient world. A pastor who left behind a life of crime to support the poor and homeless has given away all his belongings and purchased a camper van to bring his ministry directly to the streets. Bishop Mick Fleming, widely known as Pastor Mick, founded Church on Street in Burnley after experiencing homelessness himself. As part of his commitment to serving the UK's most vulnerable, he has given up his rented home and now lives in a modest second-hand motorhome, which he calls his Church on Wheels. A bishop who once lived a life marked by crime and drug use before encountering Jesus is now undergoing another transformation, this time by trading his home for a mobile caravan. Mick Fleming, a pastor of Church on the Streets, says he feels called to travel light following the example of Jesus. The pastor, who left behind a life of crime to support the poor and homeless, has given away all his possessions and purchased a camper van to bring his ministry directly to the streets. Bishop Mick Fleming, known as Pastor Mick, founded Church on Street in Burnley after personally experiencing homelessness. As part of his mission to serve the UK's most vulnerable, he has given up his rented home to live in a modest second-hand motorhome he calls his Church on Wheels. He believes that as the cost of living crisis worsens, this new mobile ministry will enable him to reach people wherever they are, from housing estates and city centers to rural communities. He shared that he kept coming across the idea of traveling light in scripture. He said, quote, "When I prayed, I felt God calling me to let go of everything, even the few material things I still own. So that's exactly what I did," end quote. He continued, living in a camper van means he can go whenever the need is greatest, taking the church directly to the streets. He further notes that it won't be easy, but he truly believes this is what he is meant to do. This step marks a new chapter in the remarkable journey of a former violent drug user and dealer who has since helped feed and clothe hundreds of families. He explained that living in a van wasn't just a personal choice, but a statement about where the church truly belongs, out among the people, alongside the poor, the homeless, and those who are struggling. For him, it's about meeting people where they are and bringing them the light of Christ. First-time author Stephen Driscoll has been named the 2025 Australian Christian Book of the Year for his debut work, Made in Our Image, God, Artificial Intelligence and You. The book, which examines the intersection of Christian faith and artificial intelligence, was honoured at the Sparklet Award in Melbourne, drawing praise for its balance of wit and theological depth.
Stephen Driscoll, a campus minister with the Australian Fellowship of Evangelical Students in Canberra, received the 2025 Australian Christian Book of the Year for his debut title, Made in Our Image, God, Artificial Intelligence and You. According to Christian Daily, Sparklet announced the award on August the 24th in Melbourne. Judges described the book as a realistic and fearless assessment of artificial intelligence and its potential impact on society. They noted Driscoll's ability to address complex theological issues with both wit and seriousness. Sparklet said the book was chosen from a shortlist of 10 titles, adding that only God's promises could guide moral decisions about AI. He further said the Bible contained wisdom even for modern debates about technology. His publisher, Matthias Media, congratulated him and called the recognition an encouragement for a first-time author. National Director Michael Curley presented the award in person, while Judge Greg Clark praised the win online. Other shortlisted works included The Body God Gives by Robert S. Smith, Confessions of an Amateur Saint by Mandy Smith, and World Christianity by Graham Joseph Hill, among others.
That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.